In this video, I'll show you how metric prefixes work and what they mean, and we'll show you how easy it is to work with them. In particular, I'm going to look at metric prefixes in measuring length and weight. And I'm going to compare these with something else that's metric, and you may not think about it, but it is definitely metric. And it's going to be money. Now, how and why is money metric? I'll show you how. In the metric system, we've got a base unit for every measurement. For the base unit of measurement of length in metric is meter. And I spelled it intentionally with lowercase there. And for weight, we've got grams. Sorry, just a singular, gram. And how it compares to money is we have dollar as a unit of measure, as a base unit for measuring money. And there we go, as a dollar. Now, the metric prefixes are standard and repeat consistently across the board here, and apply universally. So once you know it, it's just a couple of strange words. Some of them are Greek, some of them are Latin, and I sure hope you don't have a problem with a couple of new words. But they are very consistent and very simple. So with the base units, what you can do is, in the metric system, is we have multiples and we've got lesser amounts. And they're both 10 based. So we can multiply the base unit by 10 to arrive to a new unit, or divide the base unit by 10 to arrive to a new unit. When we divide the base unit by 10, with respect to money, we arrive to a new unit, and it's got its own name, dime. It doesn't have a prefix because metric prefixes really apply to length, weight, time, and such. It doesn't apply to money. However, money is metric, and a good parallel can be made here. And you know that when you make a tenth of the base unit, you're gonna end up with a lesser a unit that has a lesser value than the original, than the base unit, and that's why you need 10 of these to 10 of these smaller units to make one of the base units again. And you can do one more division likewise by 10, and you arrive to a new unit. And you know that you need 10 of these new units. Oops. Just bear with me. There, all 10 of them, all accounted for. You need 10 of these new units just to make one of the previous smaller units that you made by division from the base unit. And because you need 10 of these newer units to make one dime, eventually you're going to need 100 pennies to make one of the base units. So likewise in metric, let me just get rid of these. We can continue the same pattern and divide by 10. 1/10 of a meter is called a Deci Meter, and let me just spell this one out here. Maybe with this one. Deci. And it works with Deci Meter, and it also works with decigram. Let me just write it here. DG. Decigram. And it means 1/10, or in fraction format, or 0.1 in decimal format. 1/10, 1/10, either which way you read it. The next metric prefix that we have when we divide by 10 again is going to be centi. And centi just means 1/100th, or in decimal format, 0.01. And you know that just as you need 100 pennies to make one of the base dollars, you need 100 centimeters cm, 100 centimeters to make one of the meters, and you need 100 centigrams to make 1 gram. Now with money it doesn't go into any smaller divisions unless you go to the stock market and see that stock prices go up maybe a penny and a quarter or some such thing, but those are quarters and not multiples of 10 anymore. The metric system and metric prefixes do continue down, and you can make 1/10 of a centi, and you can arrive to millimeter, and it's spelled with 2 L's in the middle, milli. And the prefix milli works with anything. It works with millimeters, it works with, sorry guys, that's a typo there, it works with milligrams, it works with milliseconds, it works across the board. Whatever you're measuring in metric, the prefix milli works across the board. We can make multiples of tens likewise, and $10 would make a $10 bill. It doesn't really have an official special name, but for now we're just gonna call a 10 spot. And 10 of these $10 bills will make a $100 bill, and a $100 bill doesn't have an official name again, but it nevertheless exists, and we can just call it a C note there. And the same principle applies, that you need 10 of the base units to make one of these units, and you need 100 of these base units to make one of the $100 bills. Likewise, the metric prefixes continue, and to mean that something is tenfold, you use the metric prefix Deca. Sorry, I pronounced it in a Greek fashion because it's a Greek word. Probably just Deca for anybody else. And likewise, you have Deca is abbreviated as DA. So you have Deca meters, Deca grams, Deca newtons. You can have Deca seconds. It's not used very often. Another multiple of the base unit is hecto. Let me just write it in pencil. Kind of shows a little better. Hecto. You can spell it with a C as well, but I like it with a K. And hectometer or a hectogram. Hectogram is not used very much, but a hectoliter is, and it's used in measuring capacity of kegs in metric countries. And the last multiple that I want to write here is, I'm kind of running out of room there, is kilo. It's another Greek word. Sorry about the Greek accentuation there. It means 1,000 times, 1,000-fold. Just as a hecto means 100-fold of the base unit, or 100 times of the base unit, kilo just means 1,000. And it works again across the board. Works with kilometers or works with kilograms. It works with kilonewtons. Kiloseconds is not very, it's not a typical one, but it does work across the board. So these are the basic, most often used metric prefixes. Kilo meaning 1,000 times, hecto meaning 100 times, deca meaning 10 times. The base units are without a prefix. Deci meaning a tenth, centi meaning 100th, and milli meaning 1,000th. And these apply consistently across the board for units of length, weight, or capacity, or time, or force, whatever you're measuring.